Tell me something. Do you run away from difficult conversations at work? Like giving tough feedback or receiving it? Addressing a conflict with a coworker or between coworkers if you're a manager, negotiating, well, like anything, then this week's video is for you because quite frankly, these sort of conversations are fortunately, a normal part of work. And if you want to worry less about them or even grow your career, you need to learn how to navigate these with ease. Like if you want to become a manager, welcome to the land of difficult conversations. So I want you to watch this week's video because I'm going to tell you how. See you on the other side. Hello there, my name is Sara Curto. I am a certified career and leadership coach and soon to be published author. I'm going to tell you more about that in another video. And I help people find their dream jobs where they work less, make more money, and finally, and this is really the most important, feel fulfilled and happy doing work that they love. So I have started this YouTube channel, I can't even remember when, a couple years ago, and it has grown so much. I am so appreciative of all of you subscribers out there. I've hit some pretty big milestones with you guys watching my videos, subscribing to see the content. So I really just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your support. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and notification button so you don't miss a single training, because I pop on here at least once a week with a brand new training for anyone who is trying to find a new job, who is confused about what kind of career that they want, who wants to pivot, who wants to grow and get promoted and become that leader that they want to be. I tackle it all here with lots of free training, so hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single one. Okay, let's get to this uncomfortable topic at hand today, difficult conversations. So let's talk about how to handle them with confidence, navigate them with ease. Step number one is a really vital, important step. Acknowledge the discomfort. So I want to address the elephant in the room. Difficult conversations are uncomfortable. Both parties involved want to run away. That's normal. One of the key steps to mastering how to handle them, how to navigate them, is recognizing that discomfort is just part and parcel. It's part of the process. We can't get rid of it. So if you go into a difficult conversation hoping and expecting to feel comfortable all the time, here's what you're going to do. You're going to avoid the conversation altogether. Or worse, handle it poorly when it comes, which means you might get defensive or angry within it. You might start people pleasing. You might try and sweep things under the rug so you can just get out of the conversation as soon as possible, because it is not going to be comfortable. Instead, I want you to go into the conversation expecting that 100% of the time, the entire conversation, you're going to feel uncomfortable. And that's okay. We can't always feel great. I wish, but life is 50-50. So I want you to go in just expecting that it's going to be like a rock in your shoe, or like you're sitting down and your jeans aren't sitting right, or there's like just a little something like sticking into your back from your chair or something. Like you're just not going to feel at ease, and that's okay. Because the more you get used to discomfort and the more you get used to feeling uncomfortable, or what I like to say, the more comfortable you are feeling uncomfortable, the better you are at a whole bunch of things. To like silver linings this, it's like my favorite thing to do. If you are comfortable being uncomfortable, You will do things like going after scary goals, getting better deals on your phone plan, handling our parents' weird ideas. Just me? Okay, back to the next step. So, step number 2 is prepare for the conversation with empathy and facts. So preparation for an uncomfortable conversation is kind of critical. So we're going to prepare to feel uncomfortable. That's like an aspect of this. So everything is sort of preparing. But I do want you to reflect on what your goal is for this conversation. So I want you to ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, what is the issue that needs to be addressed? Number 2, how might this other person feel about this? We need to kind of figure out where their headspace is at. And number 3, are there any facts or specific examples that you can use to support your points? You might even want to think, what kind of facts would they bring to the table? Now, it is essential to balance empathy with data here. So data is the facts, empathy is the empathy. Empathy will help you really get into a headspace of and feeling that I want to talk about in the next step. But it helps you connect with the individual so that they feel heard and respected, even when you're saying something that kind of goes against them in some way. The facts kind of keep the conversation objective and focused. So, for example, instead of saying something like, if you're a manager, you're always late, what you might want to say with empathy and with data, I noticed you've been late 3 times this month. Is everything okay? Is there anything going on? So we're still addressing the, again, elephant in the room, but we're doing it in a way that doesn't get their back up, that it really opens up the conversation to figuring out the problem and the root of the problem so you can solve it. Now, if you feel like you need to work on your empathy, I do want you to head here and watch this, how to quickly develop your empathy. And if you are aspiring to become a leader, then this is a key skill. Like, it is probably one of the top skills you need to learn to become a leader of the future and definitely of today. So if you do want to be a leader and you want to learn more about developing this skill and the other 4 skills that are highly necessary for future proofing your leadership skills, then go watch this. Okay. Step number 3, stay curious and listen. So during the conversation, your goal is really to stay curious the entire time. It's like curiosity is like the number 1 underrated emotion, but I also want you to actually listen to what the people are saying. Instead of like pretend nodding, like, I'm listening, but you're actually thinking about what you're going to say next. No. We want to really listen, because I know you do that, because I have done that too. Now, what you can expect is people often get defensive. So you can expect yourself to feel defensive. You can expect them to feel defensive. But it's crucial, like, for the success of this conversation, that you remain rooted in curiosity. So one of the ways to do that is to practice that active listening, actively listening to them. It means hearing what that other person is saying without planning your response as they speak. Just like I said, like, it is letting them express themselves without interjecting. It is uncovering the root of the issue in their eyes so that you can then work towards a solution together. Now, for keeping in that state of curiosity, I like to have a thought in mind. And this is what I work on with coaching clients as they're approaching difficult conversations. And this thought can be, I wonder what's going on, or how can we work together to solve this? For when you find yourself slipping into defensiveness. But I also tend to see when we're in a difficult conversation that our survival instinct gets, triggered a bit. So defensiveness is a classic fight one. And we do, even when our natural survival instinct isn't fight, that is a very natural thing that comes up. But I do also see people pleasing, where you kind of fawn them and try and like, appease them, like make them feel okay. And so we want to watch out for that. Or sometimes that discomfort gets too scary. It's the flight response where you want to do that sweeping under the rug. This takes the form of yepping, like, yep, 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 yep. Like you're trying to yep your way out of this conversation. You know what I'm talking about if this is you. So whenever you notice yourself doing any of those things, think that thought, I wonder what's going on. I wonder how we can solve this. How can we work together to figure this out? To bring you back to feeling curious so that you can ask questions, you can actively listen, you can work together. Now, if the conversation takes a negative turn, I want you to stay steady. This is where getting comfortable with discomfort plays such a massive role. It's why this thought gets its whole thing all by itself. So one of the techniques that you can use is to take a breath and pause and ground yourself before responding, saying things like, you know what, I think we need a moment, or if they are so defensive and there's nothing you can do to kind of back them down, let's take a pause. Why don't we schedule another meeting and we can address this then? Or let's say something like, I feel like we've gotten off track. I feel like a pause, a break, coming back to this after lunch or another day might allow us to have a more productive conversation, because this is a problem I really want to solve, and I really want to solve it with you. I don't want to solve it by myself. So why don't we revisit this at a different day? And so that people's emotions can calm and they can process what's going on, so that they can think more clearly and with their like intentional mind versus the in the moment reactionary mind. Okay. Step number 4. End with a positive, actionable next step. So I always think aiming to wrap up the conversation with some sort of next step, whether it's just like an email, just rehashing what was going on. That sounds like a negative. Summarizing what was going on. It might mean setting expectations, agreeing to check in again. It could be like, if this is a massive thing, creating a plan to overcome it and creating checkpoints to check in with each other. It could be really getting into changes or what needs to happen next. So whatever it is, big or small, ending on a positive note, it really helps both people to leave that feeling like they've had progress, that they were heard, that this was a good thing, that this difficult conversation was a great thing and not a punishment. So I do want you to remember, let me wrap up first. Okay, let's recap. Step 1 is get comfortable with the discomfort, acknowledge the discomfort. Step 2 is prepare with empathy and with facts. Step 3 is stay curious and listen. And step 4 is end on a positive note with an actionable next step. So I want you to remember, if anything, that difficult conversations really are an opportunity for growth for you and your colleagues and the subordinates, the people on your team. So I want you to lean into that discomfort. I want you to prepare with empathy. I want you to listen actively, and I want you to always look for that constructive path forward and be curious about what that looks like and where that is. So thanks for watching, and if you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you're going to do for your next difficult conversation so that I can help. And if you've used this for a difficult conversation, if you plan on using this, come back and let me know how it went. Okay, see you next week. Bye. If you liked this video, then I invite you to join me in the Find Your Dream Job program, where you work less, make more money, and finally feel fulfilled doing work that you love. Find out more at www.saracurto.ca/CYLA. See you there.